Picture this. A quiet janitor, unnoticed by hundreds, speaks 9 languages fluently in a single moment, and the CEO of $1 million company overhears it. What he does next doesn't just change her life, it transforms an entire office. I'm Elena, and this is the story of how one woman's hidden gift shook our world. I'm Elena Torres, 38, the CEO of Horizon Innovations, a tech startup in Seattle that's grown from a garage project to a 200-employee powerhouse in just 5 years. I'm driven, maybe a little too intense, but I've always believed in results over flash. Our office is a sleek, open-plan space, with glass walls and ping-pong tables, the kind of place where everyone's supposed to feel like they're part of something big. But even in a place like that, some people slip through the cracks, like Amara Diallo, our night shift janitor. Amara was a ghost in our office, moving silently through the halls after hours, emptying trash cans, wiping down desks, and leaving. No trace except a spotless workspace. She was in her late 40s, with a quiet grace and a scarf always tied neatly around her head. I'd seen her maybe a dozen times, always with a polite nod, but I never thought much about her. She was just there. That changed one rainy Tuesday night when I stayed late to finish a pitch for a major client. It was past 9 p.m., the office dark except for my corner lamp. I was deep in spreadsheets when I heard voices near the break room. Curious, I stepped out and saw Amara, mop in hand, talking to a delivery driver who'd gotten lost in the building. He was speaking rapid-fire Spanish, gesturing wildly. Amara responded effortlessly, her words flowing like music. Then, as another worker, a security guard, joined in, speaking Portuguese, she switched languages without missing a beat. A third person, a late-night IT guy, chimed in with a question in French. Amara answered, her voice calm and precise. I stood frozen, my laptop still open in my arms. Then, as if that wasn't enough, a cleaning crew member asked something in Arabic, and Amara replied fluently. Over the next few minutes, I heard her shift through Mandarin, Swahili, Russian, German, and Hindi. Each transition seamless, her tone warm but professional. 9 languages, spoken like she'd grown up in every corner of the world. I couldn't believe it. Who was this woman, scrubbing our floors, speaking like a global diplomat? I stepped forward, clearing my throat. Amara, right? I said. She turned, startled, her eyes wide. Yes, Ms. Torres, she replied, her English lightly accented. I'm sorry if I disturbed you. I shook my head. You speak how many languages? She hesitated, then said softly, 9, ma'am. The delivery driver grinned. She's a wizard. Helped me out big time. I nodded, my mind racing. We need to talk, I said. Tomorrow, my office, 10 a.m. Her face tightened, like she thought she was in trouble. But what I had in mind was something else entirely. The next morning, Amara arrived at my office, her cleaning uniform crisp, her scarf a soft blue. She sat across from me, hands folded, eyes cautious. I leaned forward. Amara, where did you learn to speak 9 languages? She shifted, clearly uncomfortable. Here and there, she said. I've lived in many places. I pressed gently, and her story unfolded. Born in Senegal, she'd grown up speaking Wolof and French. Her family moved to Brazil when she was a teen, where she picked up Portuguese. Later, as a young adult, she lived in Spain, Germany, Russia, India, and China, working odd jobs to survive. In each place, she'd learned the language, not from books, but from people, neighbors, co-workers, strangers in markets. Languages are how you connect, she said. They're like doors to people's hearts. I was floored. Here was a woman who'd seen more of the world than most of our executives, who'd mastered 9 languages through sheer necessity and curiosity, yet she was cleaning our office for minimum wage. Why didn't you tell anyone? I asked. She shrugged. No one asked. I'm just here to do my job. I sat back, my mind spinning. Horizon was expanding into international markets, Latin America, Asia, Europe, and we were struggling with translations, cultural missteps, and client negotiations. Amara wasn't just a janitor. She was a goldmine of talent we'd overlooked. I made a decision right then. Amara, I want you to join our international team. Not as a cleaner, but as a consultant. You'd help with translations, cultural training, maybe even client meetings. Her eyes widened. Ms. Torres, I'm not qualified. I don't have a degree. I waved that off. You speak 9 languages fluently. That's worth more than any degree in this room. She looked skeptical, but I saw a spark in her eyes, like a door she'd closed long ago was creaking open. That meeting was the start of something bigger than I could have imagined. Amara's talent wasn't just about languages, it was about connection, understanding, and a perspective we desperately needed. But convincing her and the rest of the office wouldn't be easy. The spark I'd seen in her was real, but it was up to me to help it grow. Before that night, Amara was invisible to most of us at Horizon. She'd slip in at 6 p.m., clean until midnight, and leave without a trace. The day staff, engineers, marketers, salespeople rarely saw her. If they did, it was a fleeting glance, a nod as they rushed to meetings. I was no different. I'd built Horizon on the idea of innovation, of seeing potential where others didn't. Yet I'd missed the potential right under my nose. Amara's story made me question what else I'd overlooked in my own company. After our meeting, I called in my head of HR, Javier Ruiz, a pragmatic guy who'd been with me since the startup days. Javier, I said, we're creating a new role for Amara Diallo, international liaison, reporting directly to me. He raised an eyebrow. The janitor? I nodded. She speaks 9 languages fluently. We're wasting her talent. Javier leaned back skeptical. Elena, she's got no formal training. The team's gonna push back. They'll say it's favoritism or worse. I didn't budge. Then we show them what she can do. Set up a trial project. She'll prove herself. I knew it wouldn't be simple. Horizon's culture was open, but it wasn't perfect. We had cliques, engineers who thought they were the backbone, salespeople who acted like they owned the place. A janitor stepping into a high-level role? That was bound to ruffle feathers. But I saw something in Amara. A quiet strength, a mind that could bridge gaps we hadn't even realized were there. I wasn't just betting on her. I was betting on what she represented for all of us. Amara started the next week on a trial basis. I assigned her to our Latin America expansion project, where we were struggling with a Brazilian client who kept misinterpreting our proposals. I gave her a desk in the open plan office, a laptop, and access to our client files. The first day, I saw heads turn as she walked in, no longer in her cleaning uniform but in a simple blazer and skirt, her scarf a vibrant red. Whispers followed her, some curious, some skeptical. I overheard one engineer mutter, "What's she doing here? She's the cleaning lady." I pulled Amara aside that morning. "People are going to talk," I said. "Ignore them. Show them what you can do." She nodded, her jaw tight. "I'm not here to make friends, Ms. Torres. I'm here to work." Her determination was fierce, but I could see the nerves in her eyes. She wasn't just stepping into a new role. She was stepping into a world that hadn't seen her before. Her first task was translating a pitch deck into Portuguese and reviewing it for cultural accuracy. She didn't just translate. She rewrote sections, pointing out phrases that could offend Brazilian clients or come off as too aggressive. "In Brazil," she explained, "you build trust before business. This pitch is too direct. It'll feel like you're rushing them." I was impressed. Our head of sales, Priya Sharma, who'd been struggling with the client, was less so. "She's not trained for this," Priya said to me privately. "We need professionals, not experiments." I held firm. "Give her a week. If she doesn't deliver, we'll pivot. By the end of the week, Amara had not only polished the pitch, but joined a video call with the Brazilian client. She spoke with such warmth and precision that the client, who'd been standoffish for months, opened up, sharing concerns about our product's localization. Amara listened, translated on the fly, and even suggested tweaks to our software interface based on her understanding of Brazilian user habits. The client signed a preliminary deal that day, a breakthrough we'd been chasing for weeks. Word spread. The sales team, initially skeptical, started asking Amara for help with Spanish and Mandarin clients. She didn't just translate. She taught them cultural nuances, how to greet a Chinese client, why a certain phrase in Spanish might land wrong in Mexico versus Argentina. Slowly, the whispers turned from doubt to curiosity. But not everyone was on board. A group of engineers, led by a senior developer named Greg, grumbled about unqualified hires taking their spotlight. I knew Amara's success depended on more than her skills. She'd need to win over the skeptics. I decided to give her a bigger stage. We had an all-hands meeting coming up, where we'd present our global expansion plans. I asked Amara to lead a segment on cross-cultural communication. It was a risk. She'd be speaking to the entire company, many of whom still saw her as just the janitor. But I believed in her. If she could handle 9 languages in a break room, she could handle a room of 200 employees. The all-hands meeting was a big deal at Horizon. We held it quarterly in our conference room, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Puget Sound. Employees filled the seats, laptops open, coffee cups in hand. I kicked things off with updates on revenue and product launches, then introduced Amara. She's our new international liaison, I said, and she's going to share how we can better connect with our global clients. The room went quiet, a mix of curiosity and skepticism in the air. Amara stepped to the front, her scarf a deep emerald, her posture steady. She started with a story about her time in Senegal, where she learned that a single word in Wolof could change a negotiation's tone. Language isn't just words, she said. It's how people feel seen and heard. She moved through examples. How a German client values precision. How a Chinese client expects respect for hierarchy. She spoke in English, but peppered in phrases from other languages, showing how a single sentence could shift meaning across cultures. The room was rapt. Then she did something unexpected. She invited questions in any language. I'll answer as best I can, she said with a small smile. An engineer raised his hand and asked a question in Spanish about a Mexican client. Amara responded fluently, adding a tip about regional slang. Another employee, originally from Beijing, asked in Mandarin about a product demo. Amara answered, her tone warm and professional. Even Greg, the skeptical engineer, asked a question in German, half testing her. She replied without hesitation, earning a reluctant nod from him. By the end, the room was buzzing. People clapped, not the polite kind, but the real kind, the kind that says, "We see you." Amara's face softened, a mix of relief and pride. After the meeting, employees crowded around her, asking for tips on phrases or cultural do's and don'ts. Priya, the sales head, pulled me aside. "Okay, I was wrong," she said. "She's the real deal." I grinned. "Told you." But not. Everyone was won over. Greg and a few others kept their distance, their skepticism rooted in something deeper. Maybe pride, maybe discomfort with change. I overheard one of them say, "She's good, but she's still not one of us." It stung, but I knew change takes time. Amara was breaking barriers, not just for herself, but for everyone who'd ever been underestimated. Over the next month, Amara became a go-to resource. She trained the sales team on cultural sensitivity, helped the product team localize apps for new markets, and even joined client calls, her presence calming even the toughest negotiations. Our international deals started closing faster, with fewer missteps. But I saw something else happening. Amara was changing the office. People started talking to the night crew, the security guards, the caterers. Her story made them see the invisible workers in a new light. I decided to make her role permanent. I called her into my office and offered her a full-time position as international liaison with a salary to match. Her eyes welled up, but she shook her head. "Ms. Torres, I'm grateful, but I don't know if I'm ready. I'm still learning." I leaned forward. "Amara, you've been learning your whole life. You're more ready than most of us." She smiled, a real smile, and accepted. That decision sent ripples. Some employees, like Priya and Javier, were thrilled. Others, like Greg, grumbled about special treatment. I knew the real test was coming, a major pitch to a multinational client in Dubai. If Amara could shine there, no one could deny her place. The stage was set, and she was ready to take it. The Dubai pitch was our biggest yet, a chance to partner with a tech giant looking to expand into Africa and Asia. The client, Al Farhan Technologies, was known for being tough, detail-oriented, and culturally sensitive. We'd been prepping for weeks, but our team was nervous. Our previous pitches had stumbled over language barriers and cultural missteps. I knew Amara was our secret weapon. I flew her out with the sales team, a group of 6, including Priya and a reluctant Greg. Amara was nervous. She'd never traveled for work before. But she prepared meticulously, studying the client's culture and brushing up on her Arabic. On the flight, she sat quietly, reviewing notes, while Greg muttered to Priya about bringing the janitor to a high-stakes deal. I shot him a look, but Amara didn't flinch. She was focused. In Dubai, the meeting took place in a gleaming skyscraper, the client's boardroom overlooking the city's skyline. The Al Farhan team was polite, but reserved, their questions sharp. Priya led the pitch, her slides polished, but I could see the client's CEO, Mr. Khalid, growing restless. He asked a question in Arabic about our product's compatibility with local regulations. Priya fumbled, looking to Greg, who froze. Amara stepped in, answering in flawless Arabic, explaining our compliance plan with clarity and respect. Mr. Khalid's eyebrows rose, and he leaned forward, engaged for the first time. As the meeting continued, Amara became the linchpin. She translated technical terms, clarified cultural nuances, and even shared a story about her time in Senegal, connecting it to the client's African expansion plans. The room warmed, laughter breaking the tension. By the end, Mr. Khalid was smiling, shaking Amara's hand warmly. "You understand us," he said. "That's rare." We left with a handshake deal, a massive win. Back at the hotel, Priya hugged Amara. "You saved us," she said. Even Greg nodded, muttering, "Good job." It wasn't glowing, but it was progress. On the flight home, Amara confided in me. "I was terrified," she said, "but I felt like I belonged there." I smiled. "You did, and you do." When we returned, the office buzzed with the news. The Dubai deal was a game changer, and Amara was the hero. Employees who'd once ignored her now sought her out, asking for help or just chatting. The night crew started joining daytime meetings, their voices heard for the first time. Amara's presence had cracked open something in Horizon, a reminder that talent can come from anywhere, if you're willing to see it. Amara's success in Dubai changed the office's rhythm. She wasn't just the international liaison now. She was a symbol of what Horizon could be, a place where everyone's potential mattered, not just the ones with fancy degrees. I saw employees rethink their assumptions, not just about Amara, but about each other. The night crew got invited to team lunches. The security guard who'd spoken Portuguese that night started teaching a weekly language class. Even Greg, the holdout, started softening, asking Amara for help with a German client. Amara settled into her role, her confidence growing. She led workshops on cross-cultural communication, her stories from her travels captivating the team. She didn't just teach language, she taught empathy, showing us how to listen, how to connect. Our international deals soared, and clients started requesting Amara by name. But what struck me most was her humility. She never boasted, never sought the spotlight. She just worked, her scarf a bright splash of color in our glass-walled office. Started noticing other changes. Javier, the HR head, launched a program to identify talent within our support staff. Custodians, receptionists, anyone who'd been overlooked. We found a security guard with a knack for coding, a receptionist who was a whiz at data analysis. Amara's story had opened our eyes, and Horizon was better for it. But it wasn't all smooth. Some employees still resisted, uncomfortable with the shift in dynamics. A few whispered about lowering standards. I addressed it in an all-hands meeting, standing beside Amara. Talent doesn't come with a title or a degree, I said. Amara's proven that. If we want to be the best, we need to see the best in everyone. The room nodded, some reluctantly, but the message stuck. Amara's life changed too. She moved out of her small apartment into a better one, closer to her daughter's school. She started mentoring young women in the office, sharing her story of resilience. One evening, as we worked late, she told me about her daughter, Aisha, who dreamed of being a doctor. "I'm doing this for her," she said, "so she knows she can be anything." I nodded, my throat tight. Amara wasn't just changing Horizon, she was changing the future. Looking back, that rainy night when I overheard Amara's languages was more than a chance encounter. It was a wake-up call. Amara Diallo didn't just bring 9 languages to Horizon. She brought a perspective that made us better, kinder, more human. She showed us that talent hides in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. And when we did, it transformed not just her life, but all of ours. Today, Amara is a cornerstone of our international team. She's led pitches in 5 countries, trained dozens of employees, and become a friend to many. The office isn't perfect, change is messy, but it's more inclusive, more alive. We've learned to look beyond titles, to value the stories and skills that people carry, no matter their role. I've changed too. As CEO, I thought I knew what innovation meant, new tech, bold ideas. But Amara taught me that the greatest innovation is seeing people for who they are, not what they seem to be. She reminded me why I started Horizon, to build something that lifts everyone up, not just the ones at the top.